What if I told you that most people aren't really living? They're just reacting. Think about it. Someone cuts them off in traffic and they erupt with rage. A coworker throws shade in a meeting and their entire mood collapses. A stranger gives them a strange look and suddenly they spiral into insecurity, questioning their worth. It doesn't take much. One comment, one glance, one unexpected moment, and boom, they're thrown off center. Their peace gone, their focus scattered, their identity shaken. But here's the truth no one likes to admit. Most of us are walking through life like emotional puppets. We think we're in control, but we're not. We're wired to react to every little disruption as if it's a personal attack. And the worst part? We don't even realize we're doing it. It feels normal because it's all we've ever known. But what if you could break that pattern? What if you didn't flinch every time life threw chaos your way? What if insults bounced off you like pebbles on steel and stress couldn't hijack your mind like a thief in the night? There's a deeper level of life, one where you don't just react, you respond. Consciously, powerfully, and from a place that no one can touch. That's not just emotional maturity, that's freedom. And once you taste it, you'll never want to go back. So the question is, are you reacting or are you awake? Ever wonder why some words cut deeper than others? Why one insult ruins your whole day, while another just rolls off your back? It's not the words, it's what they touch inside you. Someone calls you a failure and your chest tightens. Because deep down, a part of you fears it might be true. Someone ignores your message and you spiral. Why? Because you're still seeking proof that you matter. The truth is, nothing can hurt you unless it latches onto a wound already inside you. Most people spend their lives reacting to the world, not realizing they're actually reacting to themselves. Their insecurities, their hidden stories, their unhealed pain. The outside world simply holds up a mirror. You don't feel rejected because someone ghosted you. You feel rejected because you've never fully accepted yourself. You don't feel offended because of what they said. You feel offended because part of you believes it. And that's the trap. But here's the good news. The pain is not punishment. It's a signal. A flare from your subconscious begging you to pay attention, to heal, to own the parts of yourself you've tried to hide. Because once there's nothing inside you for negativity to attach to, it can't touch you. It's not about building walls. It's about clearing the wounds. When you're whole inside, the outside world loses its power over you. So ask yourself, what's really getting triggered? The world? Or the part of you still waiting to be set free? What if everything you thought was hurting you wasn't really about the world at all? Not the breakup, not the failure, not the way someone disrespected you in that meeting. It wasn't them. It was the story you told yourself about what it meant. Because here's the truth. The world is neutral. It just is. The only thing that makes it feel unbearable is your perception of it. You see, two people can go through the exact same storm, same loss, same heartbreak, and come out completely different. One crumbles, the other rises. Oui, voici? Because it's not the event that breaks you. It's the meaning you assign to it. Carl Jung once said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Most people are living on autopilot, letting old wounds and false beliefs color everything they see. They think life is unfair, cruel, targeted at them. But the moment you become aware that you are the lens, not the landscape, you reclaim your power. You don't need to control the people around you. You need to examine how you see them. You don't need life to go your way. You need to change how you respond when it doesn't. The power isn't in fixing the outside world. It's in mastering the story inside your head. Because when you shift your perception, you shift your entire reality. And that is the beginning of true freedom. Why do you get angry so quickly? Why does one word from someone else ruin your whole day? It's not just what they said, it's what it touched. That flash of rage, that stab of jealousy, that wave of shame, it's not about them. It's a mirror revealing something inside you that still needs healing. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the part of ourselves we hide, suppress, deny, the childhood wounds we never faced, the insecurities we pretend don't exist. And every time someone triggers you, they're not hurting you. They're showing you. They're pressing a bruise that's already there. And this is where your power begins, not in avoiding pain, but in listening to it. Next time someone insults you, don't ask, how could they say that? Ask, why does this hurt so much? Because if someone calls you worthless and it destroys you, some part of you already believed it. When you start observing your reactions instead of being consumed by them, something changes. You move from being a puppet pulled by emotion to the one holding the strings. And the beautiful, brutal truth? Every trigger is a teacher. Every reaction is a roadmap. If you're willing to look inward, because you don't become powerful by silencing the world, you become powerful by healing the parts of yourself that used to scream. And once you do, the noise outside doesn't shake you anymore. Most people think emotional detachment means shutting down, becoming cold, distant, untouchable like some heartless monk on a mountaintop. But that's not what true detachment is. Not even close. True detachment is emotional mastery. It's the ability to feel everything without being ruled by any of it. Think about it. Someone insults you, your blood boils, your heart races, your fists clench. Why? Because you have handed them power over your peace. You've tied your sense of self to their opinion. But what if you didn't? What if you could pause, breathe, and choose your response with calm, clear awareness? That's what detachment gives you, not apathy, not indifference, but space, power, freedom. You're still human. You still care, but you're not controlled by every mood, every comment, every twist of fate. It's like standing in the eye of a hurricane. The chaos still spins, but inside you're still, watching, thinking clearly, choosing. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Detachment is how you bring that unconscious storm into the light. It's how you stop reacting and start leading your own life. Because when you're no longer a prisoner to every emotion, you are finally free to act with strength, clarity, and intention. And that's when life starts to respond to you, not the other way around. We waste so much energy trying to control the uncontrollable. We want people to treat us right. We want the weather to cooperate. We want life to follow our plan like it's reading from a script we wrote in our heads. But life doesn't work that way, and deep down, we know it. People disappoint, plans fall apart, circumstances shift. And the more we grip, the more things slip through our fingers. But here's the truth that will change your life. You were never meant to control the world. Only your perception of it. Because what happens outside of you isn't nearly as powerful as what happens inside you. Two people can go through the same heartbreak. One becomes bitter, the other becomes wiser. Same situation, different perception, different power. Carl Jung once said, the world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, it will tell you. And it will tell you that you're a victim, that you're unlucky, that life is unfair, unless you take your power back. The moment you stop needing everything to go your way, and instead train your mind to meet life as it comes, you become unshakable. Control is an illusion. Perception is your superpower. And once you master that, the world doesn't own you anymore. You walk through fire and don't get burned. Here's what most people don't realize. Your reactions are not who you are. They're just habits your brain has been rehearsing. You weren't born snapping at traffic, spiraling after criticism, or shutting down when things go wrong. Somewhere along the way, your mind learned those patterns, and now it plays them on autopilot like a broken record stuck in survival mode. But what the mind can learn, the mind can also unlearn.
Emotional reactivity isn't destiny. It's programming. And you? You're the one holding the keyboard. Every time you pause instead of exploding. Every time you breathe instead of spiraling. Every time you sit with discomfort instead of running from it. You are rewriting the code. Neuroscience backs it up. Your brain builds new pathways with repetition. You can rewire yourself to stay calm under pressure, to think clearly in chaos, to be the mountain, not the storm. And with every conscious choice, you build an identity that doesn't crumble when life hits. This is the real work, not escaping emotions, but mastering them. Not pretending you're okay, but becoming someone who's actually okay, even when things aren't. You're not stuck, you're just practiced. And with enough awareness, enough patience, and enough fire in your soul, you can become someone unrecognizable to the old you. Someone who responds with strength instead of reacting in fear. Have you ever wondered why some words cut deeper than they should? Why a stranger's tone can ruin your day? Why certain people get under your skin, while others don't faze you at all? It's because you're not reacting to them. You're reacting to you, to the wounds you've buried, the stories you've told yourself, the fears you've never fully faced. When someone insults you and you feel rage, it's not their words. It's the old scar they've unknowingly touched. When someone ignores you and you spiral into self-doubt, it's not about them. It's about that quiet voice inside whispering, "You're not enough." Carl Jung said it best. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Your triggers aren't signs of weakness. They're invitations to heal. The world is a mirror. It reflects what's unresolved inside. Most people spend their lives smashing mirrors, blaming others, avoiding discomfort, chasing validation. But the brave ones, they lean in. They ask, "Why did that bother me?" They go inward, not outward. And in doing so, they take their power back. This is how you stop being a puppet pulled by invisible strings. This is how you become whole. Because once you heal what's inside, the outside world loses its grip on you. And that's when you become truly untouchable. You are not the anger that flares up. You are not the anxiety that tightens your chest. You are not the sadness that sometimes pulls you under like a wave. You are the one who notices it all. The watcher behind the thoughts. The awareness behind the emotions. But most people forget this. They get swept up in the storm, tangled in the winds of insecurity, judgment, fear, shame. They think, "I'm angry" or "I'm broken." But that's not the truth. You are not the storm. You are the sky. And the storm, it passes. This isn't about suppressing what you feel. It's about seeing your emotions for what they really are. Weather systems. Temporary. Moving. Not permanent truths, but passing messengers. The sky doesn't try to control the storm. It holds it. It allows it. And then it lets it go. That's what emotional mastery looks like. Not numbness, not detachment, but spaciousness. The ability to say, "I see this anger, I feel this grief, but it is not who I am." When you live from that place, when you stop identifying with every emotional spike, you stop reacting to everything. You stop being a slave to the world's chaos. You start living with power, peace, and presence. And in that quiet strength, you become untouchable. What if the real power isn't in controlling the world, but in controlling your reaction to it? Most people go through life on autopilot. Someone cuts them off in traffic. They snap. A rude comment. They spiral. A minor setback. It ruins their entire day. It's not because life is cruel. It's because they haven't mastered the space between stimulus and response. But in that space, everything changes. The moment you stop reacting and start observing, you shift the dynamic. You stop being a puppet pulled by circumstance and become the one holding the strings. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you start asking, "What is this showing me?" That question alone is power. When you observe your reactions in real time, without judgment, you create distance, you create freedom. And here's the miracle. The moment you stop reacting, the world starts responding. People respect your calm. Opportunities flow toward your steadiness. Chaos loses interest in someone it can't shake. This isn't magic, it's emotional maturity. It's choosing presence over panic, clarity over chaos. So next time life tries to provoke you, pause. Watch. Don't react. Just notice. That's the moment you step into true leadership, not over others, but over yourself. And that's when life begins to shift, not because you changed the world, but because you changed yourself. And that is the ultimate power.